On April 17, 2020, Quazer Studios published the first piece of official lore for its upcoming MMORPG Valar. If you're not familiar with Valar, it's a sandbox MMO with a focus on gathering, crafting, and a player-driven economy. It's currently in development, and it's been so since 2017. In this video, let's take a look at the lore that was recently released. I'll try to provide an overview and explain some of the ideas as I've come to understand them, and even give you a few pieces of information that were shared with me by Valar's developer. Understanding the lore can be useful in learning a game's mechanics, as the developer indicated that their goal was really to have the lore and the gameplay heavily connected. Keep this in mind as you watch this video, as it's evident from the information presented. So let's dive in. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Valar takes place in a universe created by what are known as Celestials. You can think of Celestials as beings with two forms, a physical form and an ethereal form. The lore references an unknown event from the past in which an energy overflow brought their ethereal forms to life with the mandate to create this universe. Who are the Celestials, though? The released lore shows us 6 of them. Let's take a look at each one. Firstly, there's Hestia, the Celestial of Elements. Next, Volma, the Celestial of Nature. There's Azanir, the Divine Celestial, and Auroch, the Celestial of War, as well as Zulfin, the Celestial of Science, and finally Therek, the Shadow Celestial. These were the Celestials who created the planet Menariv, which is the planet on which Valar takes place. Menariv is one of 2 known worlds created by the Celestials. The second planet is called Varika, and was created by the Celestials named Volnir and Barvin. But this planet was conquered by a corrupted Celestial by the name of Viserius. In an attempt to save the people of Varika, Volnir and Barvin sent out a celestial call, seeking aid of the other Celestials. Azanir, the Divine Celestial who we saw a minute ago, answered the call, and brought the inhabitants of Varika to Menariv in response. So in Valar, we, the players, are these inhabitants, refugees from another world. The lore talks about having to learn the ways of an unfamiliar planet. When you log in and create your character, this will be the context. In exploring the world of Menariv, the influence of the 6 Celestials will be felt in many ways, according to the developer. He noted, these Celestials each have their own area of the planet, inside which they inject their celestial energy, which is affecting everything, environment, creatures, and so on. From a practical standpoint, this includes the way the world looks, the resources that you'll find in each of these areas, and the creatures too. For example, a wolf in one area may look and act very differently than one in an area under the influence of a different Celestial. The way it was described by the developer is this influence becomes more pronounced, such as tougher encounters, the further a player travels away from the starting point of a certain area. Now, to return to the images we saw of the Celestials, we can see that each one is connected to a certain archetype. So with Hestia, for example, she's associated with the Sorcerer, Oracle, and Thunderweaver archetype. According to the developer, archetypes are directly tied to their Celestials. The Celestials basically use all archetypes as their combat style. Also, each Celestial has its own resource type, which is used by this archetype. For example, Auroch, the War Celestial, has the Pain resource, so Berserkers, Warriors, and Brawlers are using Pain in their mechanics. It was also mentioned that they would like to see the players using the archetype associated with the Celestial influence in an area receive some effect that connects the player to the lore of that particular Celestial, to feel the influence of the Celestials upon the world. Lastly, according to the developer, there may be shrines to the Celestials throughout the world. Players who make the pilgrimage to these shrines may receive Celestial path points to develop the archetype associated with that Celestial. For example, in Auroch's area, you would get points for each weapons of his archetype. Recall that Auroch is associated with the Berserker, Warrior, and Brawler archetypes, so this would include the two-handed axe, which we can see from this image has its own talent tree. So, if you're committed to becoming a better Berserker in Valar, exploration to some of these areas in Menariv might just be worth your while. So there you have a basic overview of the lore of Valar and how it connects to the gameplay. I personally love it when lore and gameplay are integrated in games like this, as it really enhances immersion for your character. You can check out a couple pre-alpha gameplay videos here on the channel that Minus and I were invited to attend with the developer and privileged to take part in if you want to see what the game looks like at this early stage of development. I'll leave some links in the description to those videos. If you like what you've heard here, or what you've seen in those videos, and want to support the game's development, there's an affiliate link in the description field that will take you to Quazer Studios' website, playvalar.com, where you can do so. This not only helps them, but also helps us here at Pantheon Plus bring you this content, so if you choose to support the game through our affiliate link, it's greatly appreciated. And stay tuned for more coverage of Valar in the next few weeks. But until next time, cheers, and thanks for watching.